Stringler. I'm here in gloomy New York, but it's still Christmas time, so it's nice and festive. Let's go around and say who's here, where you're calling in from, and what do you want for Christmas this year? Russ.
Hi, I'm Russ White. I'm the co-founder, co-producer of Q Live Media, and I want Santa to come down my chimney this Christmas.
How very dare you. And that's... Okay. Starting it off on a high note, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going blue at all in the morning after. Michael.
I'm dining and entertainment writer, Michael Barbieri, calling in from New York City. What do I want for Christmas? Trump out of office.
Same. Let's go, Walter, with the chandelier.
Greetings and salutations. It's the dreaded and feared Walter Kurtz coming to you live from Donkey-Mere, home of the chandelier. And for Christmas, I want the winning Mega Ball lottery ticket.
Right? That's getting crazy. It's like in the billions now or something. I don't even know what I do with that much money. And ooh, who's that beautiful woman I see right there? Christopher Henry? Is that you?
Yes. Hi. Hi. Hi, I'm Christopher Anthony Henry. I'm an actor, comic, singer, and a film critic calling to you from Plymouth, Massachusetts, Boston adjacent. And what do I want for Christmas? I want them to greenlight a Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion Broadway musical.
I think it's in the works, honestly. I feel like it's in the works. I've heard.
That would be fun.
Christmas came early? Yay!
No, Kristen Hange, I think, is at the helm of that. So, and of course, last but certainly not least, and the most beautiful of our panel, Miss Aaliyah Sky. How you doing, Aaliyah?
Oh, stop it, Ron, not the most beautiful, but I'm doing good. I'm Aaliyah Sky. I'm a drag queen fashion designer, and I live in Los Angeles. And for Christmas this year, I want a pony.
A pony?
I have been asking for 32 years, girl, and not once.
If that pony shows up, you're not going to know what to do with it. You got to feed that shit.
Like a genuine pony or like a pony?
I one like a Shetland pony, like a real miniature horse pony.
You gotta wish for a stable first, girl. I've
got the stable. We live in a barn, so we good.
All right, getting into this week's episode. What did we think about Stacey Lane Matthews coming back? To me, it was like I didn't need it, but I understand maybe she couldn't do all of maybe she was booked and she couldn't do all of All Stars, but they wanted her on. But at the same time, I was like, I kind of remember who you are. So I didn't really get why they brought her back. Michael Barbieri, talk about that.
I always liked her. I liked her on her season.
Yeah.
But I thought that bringing her in for this one challenge was sort of pointless.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't remember her being the one to originate the Hanny. I don't remember that.
Same. Yeah.
But I remember liking her a lot. So, what it was.
Yeah, in her season she was fine, I think, but she was just I didn't remember the Hanny either. I feel like a lot of people forgot about her, so I'm glad she's back because it gives her a little more screen time, which is great, but it didn't necessarily necessitate a challenge, if that makes sense.
No.
So Christopher, what did you think of that?
I thought it was an odd choice too. I mean, I keep wondering, was pork chop not available?
They need pork chop back.
We
joked so much about pork chop. Go on.
Right? I mean, that would be the best choice. I mean, when they kept saying legend, Stacey, I was like, legend? I mean, I know everything against her, but legend? And that thing got really old really fast in that episode. It was really starting to grate by the end. And I didn't even realize that she was known for it. So it was an odd choice. And I kind of also thought they should have maybe had a second drag queen to have for the two numbers. I just thought it was an odd choice to split her between two group numbers. It was weird.
Or at least a second outfit. Aaliyah Sky, what did you think of the challenge?
I mean, I would agree. I thought it was cute. I don't think she was necessary. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's sad is because Manila and Latrice are well-known prior contestants, and so when you think of Stacey Lane Masters, you don't really think standout from season. What season was she on?
Three? 6?
3? We don't know, and that's my
exactly.
Did she fight with Morgan? Was that her? Was that Mystique?
No, that was Mystique, I think. Yeah. No, the fact they brought her back, I was great and everything. Maybe they should have shown like, and they did show some of her highlights, like with the shake weight, and I remembered that, and that was funny. But are we just scraping the bottom of the barrel at this moment? Like, the challenge itself, though, I will say, was kind of fun. Not my favorite. But what did we think of the whole, like, Gia Farrah situation? I mean, I didn't know they had beef. Apparently they have beef. And Gia wants to reconcile it and also keep beating up on Farrah. Did you think she came up? I mean, we talked about her last week, how her, like, comments tend to be a little more bullyish or a little more just, like, catty for the sake of being catty. What did you think, Walter, of what was going on between the two of them?
Well, first of all, Gia's an attention whore.
And do you think that was? Do you think it was just her trying to get camera time?
Yeah, it's her just getting camera time, and Farrah nailed her by saying, you know, I don't need to generate drama to get camera time. Yeah. But you know, everybody was saying that it was like, and to a certain extent, it's bullying. I found it particularly how she started it, which was, I hear that you're the weakest link. That's just cruel. That's not entertaining. It's not funny. Mm-hmm. It's none of those things. It shows that she's really, really a nasty, nasty, insecure person. Because that's
just
what nasty, insecure people do. And the sooner she's off the show, the better. Because I mean, that sort of energy is just toxic. I don't find that. I find it completely toxic.
No, I agree. Like, we're fine with being bitchy and catty and reading in the room, but if it's just to be mean or if it's just bullying, then there's a fine line, and Gia doesn't know that line. She just knows how to be mean, I think. Like, it's just, that's what she does. And as fun as she thinks that is, nobody else is buying it and nobody else likes it. So even though the person who went home this week deserved to go home, I think that Gia should be kind of like watching her back because no one's on her side at this point. Michael, you want to say something?
Well, I will say this. I was actually really proud of Farrah for not giving into it. Yeah. And just going on and doing her makeup and saying, you know what? You go ahead and do what you want to do. I'm just going to get ready. So go ahead. Yeah. And so she just sort of owned her moment. And I thought that was great. And then I also like how, what's her name? The team captain.
Trinity?
Trinity?
No, the other team captain.
Monique.
Monique came to her defense and said, you know what? You're getting in my teammate's head. You're just being a bully. Get out. Yeah. And really came to her defense. I liked that.
Honestly, I felt like it was the whole room. The whole room was like, what are you doing? Yeah. They're like, you're just starting shit. And that's, I think, when the room responds that way, because these are all-stars, they've done it once or twice. Like, they know when people are trying to get camera time. They know when people are trying to create drama just for the sake of drama. And because everyone knew that and was like, bitch, what are you pulling? I think it really just speaks a lot about who Gia is, excuse me, and who the other queens are. So I really
also keep in mind, those queens are sitting there thinking what we all thought when we heard Gia was on All Stars, which is, why is she on All Stars? She was sent home third in her season. There was absolutely nothing special about her. And all of the queens there know the only reason that she's there is to fill the transsexual spot. That's it. That's the only reason that she's there. And they don't need to put up with that nonsense.
And they need a villain. And they needed a villain.
They need a villain. And it's like, so it's not like, oh my God, she's this amazing, amazing drag queen. And yeah, she's got this personality we have to put up. They're like thinking, you don't even belong here. You're only here because it's like filled a slot.
Do you think she'll stay around, number one, because she's filling the transsexual spot, and also because she's filling the villain spot? Do you think that maybe the producers will keep her around to keep stirring the pot?
It depends on her performance.
She does.
I think the person that she was vilifying went home.
True, but she can do it to anybody else.
She lost the thing that gives her the attention.
Her raison d'etre.
I agree. Okay. So,
Christopher.
When it came to the actual challenge itself, which, you know, have drag queens write a song. It's it's fine, and some people excel at it, and some people don't. Some queens do, some queens don't. What did we think of the two songs? Aaliyah, what did you think?
I mean, they were cute.
Yeah.
They weren't like the best song I've ever heard, but it was nice to not have like a Rue song like forced down my throat in an episode too. So
that's true.
Available on iTunes.
Yeah, I got to give it props where it was. I mean, I thought it was good. It was okay.
Well, that's the thing, and it lets people shine who can actually do those things, and that's what a challenge is. It's like the winners will come out on top, and the people who aren't that creative or to that challenge will fall below. Chris, what did you think of the challenge?
Yeah, it's kind of exactly as you said. I mean, these challenges are designed to focus on different strengths that different types of drag queens have throughout the years, whether you're a performance-based drag queen, which I feel like you always, in some aspect, should be, or whether you are mostly like a look-based queen, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I always wonder, like, what kind of function that's fulfilling. And I think part of that showed, again, somebody like Farrah. I mean, I adore her as a person, and this week I really wound up liking her, which is a shame, but it only served as a greater reminder of what is your skill set exactly. And I mean, we have a whole season of her own, and then we have this season now to kind of highlight that there isn't a lot. And I mean, and it's a shame because she seems like a great girl and she's absolutely beautiful, but she just, like you said, the tops come to the top and the bottoms go to the bottom.
Yeah, so. And I think I'm glad that they gave her this episode. I don't know if, editing, whatnot, but I'm glad that we got to see a little bit of a stronger Farrah in response to what she was saying to Gia, like Michael was saying. It's like, we got to see her being like, okay, I'm actually trying to play now. Her play didn't win, but we got to see at least a little bit of a stronger, not cry side of Farrah. And I appreciate that, especially when we were so harsh on her last week. And I'm sorry, Farrah, if you ever watch this, which you probably are. But it would just, like, it was good to, like, see that side of her. Okay, we got the challenge. It was fine. Stacey was fine. I don't know why she was there. And then we get to the runway, which I thought the Eleganza looks were amazing. My tops were probably, I really liked Naomi's and Manila's. Let's say our fashion designer over here, Aaliyah, who are your top?
Well, Manila was definitely my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
I think she was the most put together for what the challenge was. I liked all the girls, though. I thought every single one of those girls came out, like, to slay that runway. There wasn't a single one that I was like, like, every girl was like, all right, Trinity, all right, Monique, all right, Oliver. Every single one of them came out to win, so.
I actually rewatched it to be like, was there I didn't see a minus. Like, it's all stars and everyone's here bringing it. I will say Monique with the gloves, I wasn't a fan of because it made her hands look like 18 times bigger.
They were monster hands.
Yeah, which fine and everything. But,
can I actually make a point too about Monique's outfit when she removed the top portion of it? The fact that I could see where her pantyhose stopped right at her waist drove me insane. Insane. If you're gonna do that, can you wear a nude illusion bodysuit on top of that? Just having that pantyhose line.
Because otherwise, that's gonna be what everybody's staring at. Like, as glamorous and as perfect as that dress is, if we can see a pantyhose line, that's all anyone's gonna see. So, I agree with that, Aaliyah. Michael, who is your favorite?
Monet. By far. It was the best look Monet has done ever.
Yeah, her most glamorous.
Fabulous red gown. It was gorgeous.
Great, love it. Russ, tops, bottoms?
Manila was by far my favorite. And until Naomi came out, I forgot she was in the race.
You forgot what?
I forgot she was in the competition until she came out in that outfit.
I forgot she was in her 30s. I'm like, that's
in the race.
Okay. Yeah, no, I really liked her look, honestly. And Christopher Henry, did you have some tops, bottoms?
I would say Valentina and Manila, for sure.
Valentina did look beautiful. Yeah, she kind of took it this week. Walter?
I thought Manila's outfit was one of the best things that's ever come down the runway. I thought it was absolutely stunning. Yeah. And it kept her from being in the bottom two.
I will say that, yeah.
One thing I'd make an observation about Monique Hart is last week she had just this massive white, huge highlighter on her face from here, and then it was dark. And I thought, oh, now I get what she's doing. It's that brown cow spot. She was doing like her natural skin color, then white is a white spot. This week it was the exact same thing.
Yeah, her highlight
is a nightmare. I mean, when she was pleading her case and they brought in close on her, it was rough.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with you with that, Walter. But also, I'm surprised that they haven't, like, Michelle hasn't clocked her on that yet, or like anyone on the panel hasn't been like, "Girl, what's going on with your highlighter?" It's tough. She's a little like, yeah. So I agree with you there. So basically, everyone turned it with the looks this week. And we got our top two, which was Monet and Valentina. Which I think was well deserved. I honestly do, because I think they performed well and they both brought it to the runway. When it comes to the lip sync, as much as, like, we've talked about this before, it's like when you put a white queen next to like a overweight black queen singing an Aretha song, who do you think is going to win the lip sync? And when we have an Ariana Grande song and it's Monet versus Valentina, who do you think is going to win? I'm not saying it was designed that way. I'm just saying it's a little easier for Valentina to win and Ariana Grande a lip sync. What do we think, Chris?
Well, it's also kind of, I find the lip syncs are a style versus substance thing. It's like, how many stunts do we see in the lip sync versus somebody who's channeling the message of the song. And it's funny because I saw that on display last night, which was Valentina she was performing her ass off. Yeah. I really felt like Monet was connecting to the song. I can't take the surprise expressions anymore, though. Anytime anybody does a death drop, so I'm like, well, this isn't new. It's like, why are you acting new?
I feel like they did that because of Monet's thing for doing the false death drop. Like, that was her thing in her season, was she did like the false death drop and everyone loved it. And then she pulled out a really good
split
right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, even still, I mean, not nonplussed by death drops, but yeah, I do think that you raise an interesting point, like about how some songs just fit a different drag queen better. I was pretty evenly split by the end of their lip sync. I said to myself at the end, I was like, this could go either way. But I was happy that Valentina won, because Valentina, she cares about this competition only. She doesn't care about friendships or anything. So I knew she was going to make the right decision. And as much as I like Farrah, it was her time.
It was her time before she was cast, honestly, in my opinion. Sorry, America.
And Farrah does one death drop and gets criticized for it.
Yeah. Walter, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, it's kind of difficult to beat a queen who is that beautiful, that thin, in high heels, in a glitter dress. I mean, how do you compete with that? Because your eye is just naturally going to go to the shiny object that's flying all over the stage. I mean, it's stunning.
Especially on television.
It would be more difficult for her if she were doing a ballad. But I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but just for an instant, her top came down over her pec and her nipple showed for a second. Yep. And they blurred it out. Did anybody else notice that?
There were three. Yeah, there were three times they blurred her.
They put a blur.
They blurred her vagina too at one point.
They blurred her about. I counted 3 times.
They should blur her vagina, to be perfectly honest.
They did last episode too, though. They caught it 3 times. Who was saying they caught it 3 times?
I caught it 3 times.
Okay.
When she was, she was down on all fours, and they blurred part of her behind shot. The one that Walter was talking about, and then there was one time when she was back on the runway, she twirled around, the top flew up, or the bottom of the dress flew up, and they had to blur out her bottom portion again.
Showing off her como la flor to all of America.
I mean, what is that about?
I get that, like, we're on VH1 and it's, you know, basic cable and all that, but it's a man who didn't show any naughty bits. So
and the thing is, last week they kept showing close-ups of Trinity's tuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? What's the, you know, why?
Well, that's just the FCC. Like, you never know what they're gonna. We can't show that. We can't.
It could also be Valentina had a little bit too much of a sheer going on.
Could be.
Valentina's
like,
a woman.
Well, that's the thing, is like, we don't know what we would have seen without that blur. Maybe we did see like cock and balls there. We don't know. So it might have been cock and balls. Okay, so they lip sync. Valentina won, and she eliminated Farrah, which I think we're all on board with. Especially with well, especially with Monique being in the top last week, and she even in the workroom was like, "I'm not ready to go." And when we've seen Farrah fail a couple times, plus like taking her general attitude about things, it was just like, love you, girl. Love that you're starting to come into your own, or it looks like it anyway. But this isn't your competition. Maybe, I mean, they've brought back people for All Stars who have been on All Stars before at this point, so maybe we'll see her again. I'm not sure. But I think we're all in agreement that that Farrah needed to go. Do this if you agree. There we go. Okay. Wait, Michael, you didn't do this. Did you think Monique should have gone home? Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Okay. All right.
Late.
Coming on up, who do we think is gonna take it now? Valentina is certainly a contender at this point. Trinity was safe this week. And Manila, I love, but I don't think it's her competition. I feel like it might come down to Latrice and Valentina personally. And I would like to see that lip sync personally. Let's go around, see who you think is going to be in the top. Who's your horse in this game, Michael?
I have to admit, as much as I badmouthed her before, Valentina's starting to win me over. I still think that she's probably kind of a horrible person, but professionally, with what she's doing with her looks and her lip syncs and everything, I think she's winning me over. I still have, I still love Monet. I really do. So I hope she goes on.
All right. Well, let's hope for those two. Russ.
Valentina right now, like Michael said, as much as we've criticized her in the past, I think we've seen the most growth from her, and she's really maturing into an artist. I think we're going to see some really great things from her. Manila, I think, is doing quite well. So I don't know if it's her game or not, but I think she's showing up quite well.
Yeah. But I agree. Valentina is very focused. And even in her season, she was very focused. So I feel like that will serve her well in this season, whether she wins or not.
She was focused, but there's been a change. She's been out in the wild long enough now after her season that we've seen some amazing progress, and she's hitting the Latinx market like nobody can.
Yeah, totally. And Aaliyah, tops and bottoms?
I'm still rooting for Latrice. I really want to see her go all the way to the end. And girl, how exciting would it be? They have never once crowned a plus size queen before. I think it would be great. Yeah. Like if ever there was one, I feel like Latrice should make it all the way to the end and possibly win. I think Trinity the Tuck, she's coming for blood. I mean, so far everything that she's done has looked sickening, so I can't wait to see more from her. I think those are my two standouts, though. I think everyone else will kind of, even as much as I love Valentina, I think Valentina's going to get tripped up on something shady like she did in her season.
Well,
so,
and it could be her inexperience in her youth, but like you never know. And at this point, I think it's anybody's game. So, Christopher, who do you think it will take the crown at this point?
So I think based off of skill set and based off of what the producers seem to be telegraphing to us and some of the confessionals and everything, it's looking to me like Valentina and Trinity.
Okay.
I think the two of them both possess the skill sets to meet the challenges that they have coming up. I think they both can do Snatch Game clearly. I think they both can handle runway challenges, dancing challenges, music video challenges. And we're seeing more of them. I mean, Latrice Royale is this bigger than life personality. And I remarked to myself last night, I'm not seeing as much of her. Like, for somebody like her, who in season 4 we saw so much of. And I'm like, what does that tell me exactly? Like, the producers are usually very, I mean, we saw a lot of Trixie last season, even though she didn't particularly do well until she won. So that always kind of, that's a little subtle hint to me sometimes from the producer. So those are my 2 picks.
Get it. All right, and last but not least, the dreaded Walter Kurtz.
Dreaded and feared. I agree with Christopher. It's Valentina and Trinity's season.
Okay.
But it's going to be a top 3, and so the third one is kind of a wild card. It may be Monet. As much as we all love Latrice, I don't even remember in her season other than when she played the jailer.
Yeah,
forever doing incredible in any of the challenges. So I don't see her going all the way. And I think Gia's going to go home next week. And then
hopefully,
then it gets interesting because then they're going to have to start voting off people who they think actually deserve to be there.
Who aren't assholes.
Who aren't assholes. And but no, like you say, Walter, it's like it comes down to the nitty gritty. It's like everyone here is fantastic, but we have to get rid of someone. It's what Dela ran into when she decided to self-eliminate. It's like, how do I pick between these people? There's not a Roxy there. After Gia, there's not a Roxy this season. So it's...
And Alec, have you noticed that they didn't have a discussion this season over how they're going to vote people off like they usually do in All Stars?
Oh, they didn't. They're like, we're gonna go with the judges' suggestions, or we're just gonna do our own thing. Well, maybe they're just doing their own thing, and that's okay. But also, we could still get that discussion coming up when, you know, the Farrahs and Gias and
well, they intimated that in the previews.
Yeah.
In the preview.
True.
Somebody was saying, do we send home an actual threat and keep the bad person here? What, you know? But I hope they send Gia home.
I really do too. Bless her heart.
Don't bless her heart.
She's mean. She's just a mean gal, and she should go home. Like
I was secretly hoping that one of the queens would take the lipstick case and get out Dela's bottle of whiteout and write Gia on it.
I'm sending home Gia. You. That would be funny. All right, kids.
Can I also mention one more interesting little fashion coincidence?
Yeah. What's up?
In the song, in the Don't Funk It Up, Latrice's outfit with the L.
I saw that too.
On the week that Penny Marshall
did. That too.
That was,
really bizarre little coincidence, but kind of interesting.
It couldn't have been better timed. R.I.P. Penny Marshall.
Oh.
My goodness. And before we leave, Russ, can I ask you to make your hat dance?
You want to see my hat dance as we
I would like to see it, please. I hear the music. There it is. It's oddly phallic.
So wrong.
That's Russ's every Saturday morning. I don't know why y'all acting surprised.
It's like sorting hat from hell.
Why you gagging so?
All right, well, on that note, happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for joining us on the morning after. See you next week. Bye.
Merry Christmas.